Boys, the future of Star Wars hangs in the balance right now. It is a very scary situation that we're in. The next titles to come out have to deliver, or else we're gonna have a real problem on our hands. So why am I making this video? I just finished The Mandalorian Season 3, and at the same time, I finished The Mandalorian Season 2. Why is there such a difference between the two products? So what's different about them? When you watch just even the first episode of the second season of Mandalorian, you're immediately brought right back into the world of The Mandalorian with such great pacing and such great storytelling and acting, and go on and on. But let's talk about the pacing and the storytelling here. That first episode is the common trope of Mando wants something, guy won't give it to him. Here, let's fix this common problem and then I'll give it to you. It's an intelligent way of having action and drama for a single episode while continuing the plot of the story. It happens many times throughout the show, and this first episode does it really well by introducing Cobb Vanth, Boba Fett, and the Crate Dragon is just an imposing beast, and it does an excellent job at all of this. And throughout the second season, you're treated time and time again with introductions to new characters and reintroductions to old characters that are done in such an intelligent way that you continually are begging for more. By the time you reach episode 5, Mando loses his stardom of his own show because Ahsoka completely takes over and is just so well directed, so well written. The discovery of Grogu's past and his name for that point, the action and that episode is the best episode of The Mandalorian, hands down, is that Ahsoka episode. Season 2 also does something so unexpected. It brings back Bill Burr's character that from the first season that just felt like kind of a throwaway character, and makes him genuinely likable, and like he has like a character arc throughout a single episode. It's so good. It's so good. And don't even get me started on Luke Skywalker. That finale, so good, because in episode 6, the tragedy, right? The Moff Gideon's attack on the whole team is terrifying, right? You're scared of what's going to happen. How is Grogu going to be saved? What's going to happen? And the final episode has such an excellent resolution, emotionally moving. It was beautiful. It made Star Wars Theory cry. Moving on to season 3, we get some pretty interesting stuff, and I do have to say what they did with Bo-Katan was actually really entertaining. I enjoyed her kind of growth throughout because she was about to freaking kill Mando. That was like her plan, and then all of a sudden she has to go save him, and she basically becomes sort of the star of season 3, and I thought that was great. I thought that was rather interesting. Using that same formula from season 2 episode 1 of we need thing but go do something for me first before we give you thing is done definitely more poorly, like the Jack Black episode with Lizzo. It's a throwaway episode, really. It's just a bunch of famous people being famous, and it really takes you out of the world, really. It's just not super interesting, and that episode doesn't really give you anything in terms of storytelling. It's really a throwaway episode, besides they go to the other Mandalorians that Bo-Katan lost for a while. And the finale, man. For a show that has subverted expectations for 2 seasons now, for a finale to be this cookie-cutter ending, it's quite disappointing. And part of that is because the episode before is really good. Episode 7 sets up sort of like how the tragedy did, Moff Gideon getting the upper hand, outsmarting them once again, you know, and they're all on the run. What's gonna happen next? The first 5 minutes of the next episode is them getting out of danger. The first 5 minutes of them getting out of danger and like planning their next attack and getting the upper hand again. Why have a whole episode dedicated to them losing for it to be resolved in the first 5 minutes of the finale? The second that happened, I knew exactly the rest of the plot of the final episode. There's going to be some form of strife, and they all win. And then all of a sudden, they just win. This third season cannot be the way Star Wars goes. I have already made a video on this. Star Wars didn't become the cultural phenomenon that it was because it did what the fans wanted it to do, or by being predictable. Hollywood went from telling stories to putting a formula with different settings in it. That's all Hollywood does anymore. Star Wars cannot fall into that rabbit hole. The first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian were revolutionary for streaming service television show, especially for Star Wars. It's never been done before, and it was done so well that now that's all Star Wars does, is TV shows. Here's my conclusion. I know Mandalorian's getting another season. If they're going to justify continuing the Mandalorian story, they better have something unique up their sleeves, because Season 3 was formulaic and not super interesting. Also, the Ahsoka show, I am completely relying the rest of my Star Wars fervor on the Ahsoka show. With Dave Filoni at the helm, I think I'm in good hands, but any more tampering from Mrs. Kennedy, Star Wars is in deep trouble. Thank you for listening to my rant. Have a good day.